Hello everyone and welcome to today's session on how to debug PowerShell with prompt engineering. My name is Alexander Holmeset and I work as a senior cloud consultant in a company called CloudWay, and over the past years I've been doing a lot around PowerShell and Graph API. But my newfound love within technology now is AI, of course. It's so exciting. And today we're going to use Azure OpenAI Studio and the chat playground with the GPT-4 32K model to take a look at some PowerShell issues, even for basic users. So if I had a tool like this when I started with PowerShell, this would be so helpful. Not having to post on a forum and wait a couple of hours to get a reply to see why didn't your script work. So going to start up fairly simple. I'll copy in a short script. It gets all the users in Active Directory and then loops through them to set some information. And let's add some text, a prompt here at the start. Why is this script not doing anything to the users? Let's see here. There's a typo in my script. I used 2 R's instead of 1 R in users. And it even came out with a better version of the script with that error corrected. That's amazing. Look at this, how quick and simple this was. No need for posting in forums anymore. Or sometimes, of course, but this is amazing how quick it is. Let's take another example of a script that gets all Azure AD users and sets some property to a mailbox. Why is this not working? It uses the $user attribute to then set the mailbox. Okay, the get Azure AD command returns an object that includes user principal name, not identity, which is required by set mailbox. You should modify the script to use user principal instead of identity. So it does $user.user principal name instead of the whole object. That was the error this time. This is still amazing that see how simple you get these answers. And another thing, I work with the Graph API and PowerShell, and I have a meeting room calendar and a user's calendar. And I want to see if two calendar event objects from these two different calendars is the same meeting. So I copy these two calendar events, and let's write something here first. Is there any property in these two calendar events I can use to see if they are the same meetings? Let's paste. Okay, to determine if the two events are part of the same meetings, you can check the iCal UD. Huh. And here's the ID from the first event and from the second, and it, as you see, it says, as you can see, they are the same. So these two events are part of the same meeting series. Oh, this is amazing. Like, look at this. all these details. I guess you can do some of it with PowerShell comparing and stuff like that, but I didn't know which property I could use to identify them. So this way, I could just paste all these two objects and just ask which one can I use to look at the same. But let me do a small change to the iCal UID in one of the objects. And let's ask it again. Is the iCal UID in these two objects the same? No. iCal UID for the first event is and is like this. And I have seen doing this comparison earlier. Also, it says if I've just switched out, say, one or two characters, it says it's very similar, but not the same. So this again is very amazing. Let's look at something else. Can ChatGPT help us write PowerShell scripts? Let's start off with a simple command. And I'm also on a Mac, so let's add that to the prompt. Can you write a PowerShell command that lists all root folders on my Mac? Okay, get child item and directory slash. Let's copy this and see what it does. Yeah, it lists all the root folders. That's good. Well, let's ask it again. Can you make a script out of this and loop through all the root folders and get the child items? Okay, get child item and loops through them. Okay, let's copy this one. And let's just paste it, see what it does. Wow, it did that fairly quickly. It looped through all the root folders and got all the child items. This is again very amazing. Okay, let's see what we can do with Azure OpenAI and PowerShell and do some requests through PowerShell. So it's using the REST API to do requests against Azure OpenAI. And I'm not going to get into details how to set up and stuff like that, but you can go to my blog, alexholmeset.blog, and see some blog posts on how you get started with this. But let's do something simple here. Can you write a PowerShell script that creates a for each loop and count to 10? Let's see. Okay, let's run this. Okay, that looks promising. And let's paste this. Yeah, and it counted to 10. Amazing. And this was unfortunately all we had time for in this session today. but I really enjoyed speaking at this first ever prompt engineering conference. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the sessions here. Goodbye.